Hi, my name is Jenifer Sanchez, and today we're doing the kinds of classroom assessments. So there are two different types of assessments, which is a formative is an assessment and on how it evaluates the students are learning the material throughout the course, and summative is how it evaluates how much the students have learned throughout the course. Formative examples would be quizzes, games, projects, presentations, and group activities. This is more like a daily basis kind of a thing. So like a daily quiz or a daily, group activities and so on. Summative examples would be like tests, final exam, reports, papers, end of projects. This is more like a cumulative kind of course. Like since you learn in the beginning, you will use it at the end of the end of the course. The kinds of assessments that I saw in these videos throughout this week would be kind of like a mixture of a formative and summatives. But I believe one of the videos that executed this perfectly would be the pinwheels discussion large group conversations. The reasons why is because the teacher tells her students that at the beginning of the classroom that if they remember that the things that they learned from the beginning toward the middle is the things that they are going to need and understand towards the end. So that's where it came when they used they used three different books or poems into this group activity that they were going to do. In the video, we can see that she divides the classroom into 4 different sections. She divides 3 of those are going to be part of the books or the poems that they read throughout the whole entire course of the year. And the 4th one is going to be kind of like a prosecutor, one that tells them, what is right, what is wrong. So basically how it went out is that those 3, it's basically the 4 groups that they would come up with questions, and the 3 of them that have like the book or the poem, they would take their facts and be like, okay, how can I debunk these, like the questions, or when it tells us a question, how can we contradict it and stuff like that. Make sure that the book is always right and they are always wrong. And then for the prosecutors is basically that they want to look good to make the book look wrong. So basically it was a little debate which went very well. Every student participated. It went out very well. This caught really my attention because this is almost as close as one of my assessments that I shared on my Flipkart. My assessment was that it was basically a mixture of the formative and summative assessments, because it was a social history standard content 10.6, which was basically asking the students to analyze and understand World War I. So one assignment that I was going to do for my students was that they would get into groups, and then they would come up with their own little presentation on how they analyzed the topic and what they understood on the points, and then they would present it to class, and then that would give me basically a way to evaluate my students and their progress to see where they are and how they understood the material. I remember also one of the assessments that I saw from one of my peers also on Flipkart that we did for the assignment was that she said that she would use flashcards, and then she said that she was going to use flashcards. So she would write the words. Her students would write the words on one side, and then on the other side they would draw a picture which is related to the word, and then they would go to their to their peers, and then they would test each other so that they had an idea of what was going on. And then after that, she said that she was going to test them and see, so they can practice the words and see where they really are. Now for me, however, my subject is Spanish. So the way that I would teach Spanish would be a mixture of formative and summative assessment as well. The way that I would do it would be that I would divide my students into equal number of groups, and then I would give them a verb, and then they would have to conjugate that verb. And then they would have to make a small quick presentation, and then they would present it to the classroom and the teacher as well as myself, so I can view their progress. And then they would have to explain it and show them how they conjugated the word. And then because conjugating verbs in Spanish is a really big thing. And then it would be a summative because I would as well I would put verbs in the final exam, so they can conjugate them.